Hey guys, Darren here. Welcome to Mayhem Country Living. Welcome to Man Building Mondays. I know I missed a couple of them. Been a lot happening. I did include videos, but I didn't call them Man Building Mondays. And this is just ideas and concepts and stories from myself growing up that, in my opinion, made me become the man that I am. And it seems to me that a lot of young men are lacking direction and focus. And so I just want to give a couple of stories quickly. You know, it's not going to be a half-hour video or anything like that. I want to talk to you about my dad. He's actually my stepdad. His name's Kerry Lyle. He's in his early 80s now. He still alive, still kicking. He and my mother came together. They married in the mid 70s, 72, 73, and everything. I'm 54. I believe it is. And so I met him when I was 6 years old. Interesting fellow. Very smart man, very intellectual man, very assertive man.
You gotta go pee, Papa.
I had to stop for a second because the grandsons are coming outside to pee off the front porch. Away she goes. It's how we live in the country. Anyway, Dad was a drill instructor for the United States Army. Yes. And he served his time during the Vietnam War, and then he did his time, and then he served extra. He re-upped, and then he did a couple of extra reservist tours just because he felt like he needed to. And it was very interesting because he always, here in central Alabama, he traveled all up and down the eastern seaboard, all the military bases, and doing basic training and everything. And yeah, and he had had his hat and everything, and he was, Dad was a drill instructor. And yes, was my father a drill instructor when I was growing up? You're damn right he was, and I paid for it. A lot of people ask me, why did you not join the military? Because you have a lot of jargon and you have a lot of phrases that makes people think of military service. I have never served in the military. I will tell you, I lived with my mom and dad until I was 17 years old. And after that, I got out. And I should have gotten a damn discharge from my dad because it was the same way. Your foot locker wasn't straight. Flip it, shake it, throw it. Your gig line wasn't straight. It was a bad day for you. I did PT when I was 7, 8 years old. On the plus side, there was a lot of stuff that I learned, and all the neighborhood kids learned from my dad. Dad was just Dad, and he showed me how to do all this different stuff that most 18-year-old kids learned in Army basic training. Yes, it was interesting. And but Dad's a hell of a man. And from there, of course, I moved out and moved off and up and everything, and Dad did the same thing. And so he did not like his lot in life after he had finished up with his tour, his military service, and did not like his lot. So he went on to do a lot of different things. He went on to get like a bachelor's degree in biology, and then began to work at a teaching college here in Central Alabama, UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, and help perfect, crazy enough, microsurgical techniques for surgeons doing cardiac procedures. He helped perfect that. His name's on a bunch of papers, and he actually received a teaching fellowship, I want to say, something to that degree, to where he was allowed to go in during human procedures and actually instructing, guide the surgeons on these new procedures. These were like really cool stuff. He actually helped develop stents, the cardiac stents that so many people get as an outpatient procedure. My dad helped perfect that, and he's got names on patents and all that stuff. And it was just really cool, because he was just a drill instructor in the U.S. Army, and beat, respect, esprit de corps into me like you would not believe, guys. So that old man, and I'd never call him old man to his face because he'd whoop me today. I got a lot of respect for him. So it's interesting. One thing I asked him, I said, Dad, why don't you, because he had some health problems, I said, why don't you go to the VA? I said, you're covered for everything. He said, I don't want them to take care of me. He said, I don't need anything from them. He said, I don't want it. And he said, I wouldn't, you know, he said, I wouldn't do it. I said, well, it's free. He said, I don't give a damn. And so he had his benefits and never went to the VA. How about that? It's just weird to me. But Dad said, hell, most people die in the VA, boy. And I said, well, yes, sir. I've heard stories about that. But that was just my dad, Carrie Lyle. And yeah, her names are different. That's a whole nother story. But we had to take away his ladder and his chainsaw last year because he was climbing up on the roof to do work and cut tree limbs. And just the way it is. You can't stop him. Now he'll be talking to you and he'll fall asleep, taking a nap. And I'm like, well, okay, he's earned it. But I don't know if there's many men like that left living. I can think about other people that I knew, but there's damn few people left who could inspire you. Dad still makes me nervous when I'm around him. He's in his 80s. Thought you guys would get a kick out of it. I remember one time, I'll leave you with this. I remember one time I had gotten out of class. This was high school, 9th or 10th grade. And I said, hey, Dad, I'm going to go up and pick up basketball up at the church. He said, all right. He said, you change out of your school clothes? I said, yes, sir. And I hadn't. And he said, all right. And so I went up and was playing pickup basketball. I was doing pretty good. Got foul checked, knocked down, ripped my jeans. Holy cow. Bleeding good. Limped back to the house, and I told Dad, and he said, what happened, boy? I said, fell down, ripped my jeans. He said, those your play clothes? I said, no, sir. He said, those your school clothes? I said, yes, sir. He said, you rip your jeans, you get a whipping. Who is this?
Hello, guys. My name's Xander.
This is my grandson. one of my boys